Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I have already taught you neurotics, alcohols, ethyl alcohol and methyl alcohol, and then kerosene oil, and then I have to take up deliriant poisons like datura and cannabis indica. Then the spinal poisons nux vomica or strychnine. But before taking up deliriant poisons, there is one poison from fuels that is called kerosene oil. So today's topic is again divided into two. Number one is kerosene oil poisoning, and number two is a deliriant poison known as cannabis indica. So I have already given the sources of study in previous lecture, that is chapter 52, Parik, page 623 and 624. Here you will find kerosene oil, and for cannabis indica you will read page 638 to 636 to 638 of the same chapter, that is 52. Now kerosene oil falls under the subgroup the fuels, and all fuels are derived from petroleum. The examples are kerosene, petrol and naphtha. Petroleum is a raw substance which contains gas and liquid parts. It is found underground in several parts of earth. Its refined oil is known as kerosene oil. There are some other products along with kerosene which are separated from petroleum during the process of purification. They are divided into two groups: lighter than kerosene and heavier than kerosene. And the kerosene falls in between these two. Number A, those which are lighter than kerosene and boil at lower temperature than kerosene. They are known as gasoline and include pentane, hexane, petrol, naphtha and benzene. B are those products or distillates, you can call them products or distillates, which are heavier than kerosene, boil at a temperature higher than that of kerosene, and they include lubricating oils, Vaseline and paraffin. In general, among the petroleum products or petroleum distillates mentioned above, the toxicity is inversely proportional to the boiling point. Therefore, the heavier distillates like Vaseline and liquid paraffin are harmless and commonly used as medicinal products, while the lighter ones like benzidine and petrol are highly poisonous when inhaled or ingested. Next is mode of action of kerosene. Now following 3 points will explain the mode of action of kerosene oil and other petroleum distillates. Petroleum distillates and kerosene oil are irritants as they dissolve fats. This is number one. Number two, they depress the cells of central nervous system, so they are CNS depressant. Number three, they have adverse effects on liver, kidney and bone marrow. by contaminants such as benzidine, because during purification process some benzidine may remain in kerosene oil. That was about mode of action. Next is acute kerosene poisoning, and I start from signs and symptoms of acute kerosene poisoning. And you get a question in prof which says that give an account of kerosene poisoning. So if you are asked this question, that means you will have to write signs and symptoms of acute as well as chronic kerosene poisoning. So keep in mind this, the question means this. The signs and symptoms develop after ingestion or inhalation of kerosene. So there are two ways or two modes of administration. Number one is ingestion and number two is inhalation. After ingestion of kerosene oil, there is kerosene taste, a sensation of burning in the throat, nausea, vomiting, colicky pain and diarrhea. The breath, vomit and urine smell of kerosene. That means there is kerosene smell in breath, from vomit and from urine. The respiration becomes slow and shallow. Cyanosis develops. Then there are lung complications like bronchopneumonia and pulmonary edema. They are common. The CNS depression of the kerosene oil results in giddiness, weakness and drowsiness, followed by coma and death from respiratory failure, or you can call it asphyxia. Again, this is mode. Remember this from your previous thanatology study. Asphyxia or respiratory failure is mode of death and cause of death is kerosene oil poisoning. Now, these were signs and symptoms after ingestion, but the fumes of kerosene oils are inhaled. So now I come to signs and symptoms on inhalation of fumes. So these are usually occur to those people who work in purification of petroleum industry or gas stations or petrol pumps and other places. So inhalation of fumes causes headache, vertigo, nausea, vomiting and lung complications, followed by intense excitement, hallucinations and convulsions. Hallucinations are mainly sensory. There may be images or there may be sounds with no real object. Convulsions are violent muscular movements. In fatal cases, cyanosis, that means increased amount of carbon dioxide in blood, and coma occur before death. So then death takes place. Fatal dose of kerosene, ingestion of more than 10 ml of kerosene is fatal, and fatal period is within few hours because it's very rapid. It spreads over a large surface area in lungs and cause intense pulmonary irritation. So fatal period is only a few hours and death takes place. That was all about signs and symptoms, whether ingested or inhaled. After that, treatment of kerosene oil poisoning it depends on route of administration. So it will be different for ingestion and inhalation. If kerosene oil is ingested, first step is gastric lavage or stomach wash to be done with warm water containing 5% sodium bicarbonate. Next step is the absorption of kerosene oil can be slowed by giving liquid paraffin orally. So again here you will see that like methyl alcohol poisoning, ethyl alcohol was used as antidote, which is itself a poison. Similarly here liquid paraffin is another petroleum distillate, although it's not poisonous. So it is being used as antidote. So then after giving liquid paraffin, you can give, as a doctor, you can give saline cathartic agent like magnesium sulfate to cause diarrhea, to excrete it from stools. Now if the poison is inhaled, what doctor will do? The patient must be removed from the source of inhalation to open air, and artificial respiration should be carried out. Coming to autopsy findings in a case of acute kerosene oil poisoning, it will be as follows. On opening the body cavities and opening GIT, the examiner will find acute gastroenteritis in stomach and small intestine, and kerosene odor or smell in the contents of GIT and lung. There will be pulmonary edema and bronchopneumonia in lungs. Degenerative changes are observed in liver, kidney, and hypoplasia of bone marrow after prolonged period of inhalation in cases of chronic poisoning. Signs of asphyxia are seen like cyanosis, congestion, edema, fluidity, and petechial hemorrhages. Now for chemical analysis, there are two types of viscera which are preserved and sent to forensic science lab. Number one are usual viscera which are to be sent in each case of poisoning like stomach, small intestine, liver, kidney and spleen, plus specific viscera for kerosene oil poisoning or brain and lungs, and all these are preserved in saturated saline and sent to the lab via police. The medico-legal aspects of kerosene oil poisonings, you can divide it into three aspects. Number one, it is mainly accidental. Number two, homicidal, and number three, occasionally suicidal. So coming to accidental manner, it is mainly accidental. The majority of the cases are young children who have taken kerosene in mistake for water, because it's almost colorless, and if it is stored in a soft drink bottle or empty water bottle, then most likely they will take it. Isolated cases occur among persons attempting to suck petrol from car tanks through rubber tube. Sometime when the engine of the car makes stops or some other problem of petrol issues, then people try to suck petrol and they can ingest it by mistake. Homicidal cases are common, that is, attempts by pouring kerosene oil on clothes and igniting them to newly wed females by their in laws on account of not bringing enough jahez. So, such type cases will be homicidal. Number 3 is self immolation or suicidal attempt, you can say, to gain attention for a demand by poor or needy people in front of high officials or their buildings like Assembly Hall or Governor House. So they put oil on them and then burn themselves to get some attention or to meet their demands, and they may die in that process. So that was all about acute kerosene oil poisoning. Now I take up chronic kerosene oil poisoning. The route of administration in chronic kerosene oil poisoning is inhalation. The persons or workers who handle petroleum products or distillates such as oil refineries, petrol pumps, etc., are regularly inhaling the fumes of kerosene. The main symptoms and signs experienced by the affected people are dizziness, weakness, weight loss, anemia, nervousness, pain in limbs, peripheral numbness, and paresthesia. Now coming to treatment of chronic kerosene oil poisoning. Number 1, remove the patient from the source, that is, isolation of the patient from exposure is done, and then symptomatic treatment is given. After kerosene oil, I am going to start another neurotic poison which is called cannabis indica. Now cannabis indica belongs to deliriant group of poisons, of cerebral poisons, of neurotic poisons. So here again classification is important. Neurotic poisons are divided into 3 main groups: cerebral, spinal, and peripheral. So cerebral are again divided into 3: somniferous, inebriant, and deliriant. So somniferous poisons are opium, which Professor Sir has taught you. Inebriants are alcohol, which I have taught you. And deliriants are those which cause delirium-like symptoms. That means they change the behavior of the person. They make him aggressive. So 2 poisons will be discussed by me, that is Dhatura and cannabis indica, and the other deliriant poisons are Atropa belladonna and Hyoscyamus niger. Now this first I take up cannabis indica. This you will study from Parekh, section 10, chapter 54, page number 636 to 638. Other names for cannabis indica are cannabis sativa, Indian hemp, toga, hashish. These are all names of cannabis indica. This plant grows all over the subcontinent, so commonly found everywhere. All the parts of the plants like leaves, shoots, stem, flowers are poisonous. Active principle of cannabis indica is not an alkaloid, but it is a fat soluble oily resin, tetrahydrocannabinol or THC. THC is the abbreviation for tetrahydrocannabinol, or you can simply call it cannabinol. The routes of administration of this poison are ingestion and inhalation. Mode of action is it is a stimulant of central nervous system and causes delirium like effects. Next is forms of cannabis. This cannabis occurs into 4 or 5 forms like bhang, majun, ganja and charas. They are based on the concentration of the active principle, the cannabinol, THC. Number 1, bhang. It has 15% concentration of THC or cannabinol. It is prepared from the dried leaves and fruit shoots, which are used as an infusion in the form of a beverage. It is the least potent of all forms. Number 2, second form is majun. It's a sweet meat made with bhang. It produces delusions or the false but firm beliefs of grandiose. So delusions are false and firm beliefs of something. Here they are of grandiose, means the person thinks himself to be a big personality. Plus all the effects of bhangs are seen. Number 3 or third form is ganja. It consists of the flowering top of the female part of the Cannabis indica plant. It is specially grown to extract large amount of resinous exudate. It contains 25% cannabinol or THC. This resin has a rusty green color. And characteristic odor. It is mixed with tobacco and smoked in a pipe. It is largely used by sadhus, fakirs and malangs. Fourth form is charas. It's a resinous exudate from the leaves and stems of the plant. The concentration of active principle varies between 25 to 40%. That is, it is most potent of all forms, also named as hashish. It's smoked with tobacco in pipe or hookah or cigarette. Now, marijuana is another name, a term. It is a Mexican term used in America for cannabis and means pleasurable feeling. It is also called, the other names of marijuana are pot, gross tea and Mary Jane. It is used similar to ganja. It's eaten alone or as part of confection or drinks drunk in beer or some other beverage, or smoked in cigarettes, also known as reefers or weeds. Contains about 500 milligram of active principle. Their use leads to heroin addiction, especially in teenagers. These were about the forms of cannabis indica. This is important SCQ. Coming to symptoms and signs of cannabis indica. First of all, I would like to talk about its in general. It is supposed to be enhance sexual and analgesic actions, but it leads to psychological dependence and intense craving. So, this is a substance of addiction. I will take up this what is addiction and dependence in a separate lecture when I will teach you dangerous drug rules in a lecture. Now, the signs and symptom of cannabis indica may be from small dose or from large dose. So, if it is taken in small dose, the effects resemble of those of alcohol, and so causing euphoria at first, then followed by narcosis later. The effects of a single dose may last for a week. So, in stage of euphoria, the patient is pleased with himself, has a feeling of cheerfulness and well-being, and is talkative. His appetite is increased and may seek sexual enjoyment. Now, with large dose, there is a loss of perception of time and space. He gets visual hallucinations. This stage is followed by stage of narcosis, in which there is giddiness, confusion and ataxia. Commonly there is tingling and numbness of extremities or even generalized anesthesia in severe cases. He may also fall into deep sleep for about 6 hours and wake up fully recovered. Rarely, drowsiness may be followed by collapse and coma, and death may occur from respiratory paralysis or asphyxia. Fatal dose of charas is 2 gram per kg body weight. Ganja is 8 gram per kg body weight. Bhang is 10 grams per kg body weight, and fatal period is 12 hours. After that, treatment, how to treat this patient. It is treated on the same line as other narcotics. Perform stomach wash with warm water. Give hypodermic injection of strychnine. Also, you can give strong tea or coffee by mouth or per rectum, and then you need to do artificial respiration. Autopsy findings in this case are there are no characteristic findings. Usual findings of asphyxia are found, which cyanosis, congestion, fluidity, edema, and petechial hemorrhages may be seen, but they don't give you any clue about cannabis indica. They are generalized features. Medico-legal aspects of cannabis indica. Most cases of poisoning are mainly accidental or by overindulgence. Now, what is accidental manner? It is used in chocolate which contain THC or cannabinol. So they are used by children. They cause intense craving among them because of its euphoric effects. Now, majoon and charas are used as stupefying poisons. prior to robbery, kidnapping, and rape. So, one manner or medical legal aspect was accidental, other is used as stupefying poisons to cause stupor and coma, and then to rob the person or victim or kidnap or rape. It is also a roadside poison given by criminals to innocent travelers, mainly to rob them while they are stupefied or unconscious. Other famous roadside poisons are dhatura and opium. Now, then impaired judgment from marijuana leads to accidents, sexual excesses, violence, and crime. In this way, it resembles with alcohol effects. Rarely the victim runs amok. Now, what is run amok? You get an SEQ usually on it. This is a condition resulting from use of cannabis. The victim has a strong desire to commit murders. A number of people are killed, the first one being those against whom the victim has some real or imaginary enmity, followed by others found on the way until this homicidal tendency continues. After that, the person may commit suicide or surrender himself to police. So this condition or this is run amok. Now, ganja can be used to steady nerves before doing some bold act, that is homicide. Charas and ganja are sometimes used to dope cigarettes to improve memory. Sadhus, Malangs, and Sufis use this cannabis to get into religious mood. So these are some of the medical legal aspects. In the last, there is chronic poisoning by cannabis indica. It is also called hashish insanity, in which the victim or user suffers from delusions of grandeur or persecution. Delusions, are false beliefs, and grandeur means greatness, or persecution means there is some fear of revenge by someone. The addict commits sexual jealousy crimes under this influence of homicidal nature. Again, the same effect like alcohol. Now, he may also suffer from run amok phenomena, which I already described, that he has uncontrollable desire to kill other people. So, with that, I conclude this lecture. Thank you very much.